Welcome back, cadets. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about mallet instruments. Now, with mallet instruments, there are four very common types that you might run into in your school band. There is the marimba, the one that I have in front of me. The marimba has wood bars. We have the xylophone, which also can have wood bars, and they sound a lot higher than the marimba. We have a vibraphone, which uses metal bars, and we also have a glockenspiel, or a bell set, which also uses metal bars as well. For today's lesson, we are going to mainly talk about the marimba. However, if you learn how to play one mallet instrument, it's really easy to transition to another. First, I would like to talk about what types of mallets we use on this particular instrument. Now, it is very important that whichever mallet instrument we're playing, that we use the appropriate mallets for that instrument. With a marimba, we typically want to use a yarn mallet that is anywhere from a medium soft to a medium hard mallet head. Okay? Now each marimba mallet will have a different kind of sound. For example, with these orange ones that I have in my hand, they sound like this. If I were to switch to these teal mallets, they have a slightly softer sound. Okay? So depending on which mallet you use will have an effect on how the instrument sounds. Now, one kind of mallet you should never use on a marimba are hard plastic or brass mallets. Okay? These mallets are specifically used for bells or xylophone. If I were to use these mallets on this particular instrument, you can do significant damage to the keys and to the instrument. Now let's talk about how we play the instrument. First, I'd like to talk about the grip of the mallet. Similar to playing snare drum, you want to grip the mallet about a third of the way up. Also similar to the snare drum, your fulcrum will take place between your first and second knuckle on your index finger, and you're going to want to pinch with your thumb and gently wrap your fingers around the rest of the mallet. Okay? Now, where you play on the bars is also very important. You generally want to strike right in the middle of the bar. Similar to the snare drum, if you strike on different parts of the bar, it might produce a different sound. For example, now if I were to move lower in the bar, it wouldn't sound as nice. So again, a good rule of thumb is that if you aim for the center of the bar, that is where you will produce the best sound. Now I'd like to talk about how to roll on the mallet instruments. It is very different than rolling on a snare drum. What we are going to do is we are going to use a single stroke, and we're going to want to try to fill as much of the note as possible. For example, if I'm trying to roll on a quarter note, and this is my quarter note, okay? Now again, where you strike the bar on your roll is very important. Now, since you're using two hands, it's impossible to get both hands to strike at the exact center of the bar. So what you want to try to do is position your mallet heads equidistant from the center of the bar. Again, we want to try to have as smooth roll as possible. Try to roll at a nice comfortable speed and try to make sure both mallet heads come off the bar at the same height. Okay, cadets, I need to stress how important it is that you learn how to read music. Now, I understand learning how to read music can be a little scary, but it is the best way to master this or any mallet instrument. A great way to practice reading music and to learn your way around the instrument is by practicing scales. On our website, we've included worksheets for both 1 and 2 octave scales. Both will be very valuable as you start to practice. And as always, if you have any questions about anything we've talked about so far, feel free to email the address below. And don't forget, keep practicing.